I'm about to show you the top 5 exercises if you're trying to maximize your appeal and build a physique that is attractive to females instantly. Most exercises are going to help you do this successfully, but there are a few key exercises which I'm about to show you which will optimize your appeal the most, and that means they're going to help you stand out the most in the dating and attraction market. First exercise we have are weighted pull-ups. These are probably the GOAT of exercises for building an attractive physique. Why? Because they feed into building the V-taper physique, which I talk about in every single video. It's the golden ratio physique, which is where your physique looks like this. It doesn't look like a fucking fridge like how most guys are training to look. It looks like an upside down Dorito, a triangle. And this has been proven in studies biologically to be attractive to females on a first impression basis. There are literally studies done, and the optimal ratio between your shoulder and waist is meant to be 1.6x. So that means your shoulders are 1.6x bigger than your waist. And when you can do this, you're going to be attractive instantly on first impression basis. If you think about it, if you're far away from a girl and she sees you walking towards her, the powerful dominant shape of a man who is built well is going to be a V, is going to be a triangle. It just asserts dominance. Now, not only that, it doesn't only make you attractive, but building pull-up strength, weighted pull-ups specifically, is going to give you real-world skill. Because if you're out with a girl, if you're trying to, impress someone in public, the easiest way to do this is by doing some kind of like bar work, some pull-ups or some muscle-ups even. And when you get good at weighted pull-ups, you're going to be able to do this with ease, and maybe even you might be able to lift up your girl if she's quite light. Weighted pull-ups will work on your grip and your forearm strength. This is essential because another aspect of being attracted to females is having vascular, strong forearms. And when you're training pull-ups consistently, forearms and your grip strength and your biceps are doing a lot of the work in the pulling. So you're going to develop vascularity, you're going to develop muscle there, and overall you're just going to boost your aesthetics in both the lats and creating that V-taper and in your forearms. Now, my method for getting good at weighted pull-ups, firstly, you need to be able to do full body weight pull-ups initially. And if you can't do them right now, then I would recommend utilizing eccentric pull-ups, which is basically where if you can't do one right now, you jump, you hold onto the pull-up bar and you jump up to the top and you lower yourself as slow as you can. It may not feel like you're doing a rep or you're doing a pull-up at all, but you're training the negative motion, the lowering motion, which is where you need all of the control and the muscular stability. So if you just keep training this over and over again, eventually you'll be able to hit your first pull-up just by neurologically training your muscles to get stronger in that given movement pattern. And if you want to boost this further, you can do lat pull downs to strengthen your actual vertical pulling movement. And it's inside of Project Undeniable, my community, where I teach you how to advance your skills like this and go through all the steps required to build the attractive physique and optimize your whole entire life as a young guy. So if you're interested, check the link in the description. Now, once you can do bodyweight pull-ups, you just want to keep adding weight as soon as possible. Get a dipping belt, add the smallest increment of weight possible. Train weighted pull-ups 2 to 3 times per week, going heavy, doing low reps and low sets, and I guarantee you, you will build a V-taper without even really focusing on it, and you're going to get some epic strength that makes people in the gym stare at you, because not many people can actually do this skill effectively. Number 2, we have the Romanian deadlift. Now, this is probably the best exercise to build your posterior chain, which is essentially the whole backside of your body. This includes the lats, which are going to help build that V-taper, but it also includes the rhomboids, the mid-back, the whole entire back. So it's going to give you thickness and make your back look strong. We know that girls want to look at a sexy back, and when you couple the V-taper from pull-ups and a thickness from doing RDLs and having that constant isometric loading of holding over 100 kilos up with your hands and using all your back stabilizers and muscles to contract, you're going to have a good looking back, right? And as well, when you're doing this, you're going to get a postural boost. You're going to train the muscles on the backside of your body that hold you up properly and make you look more dominant and masculine. Because we know that if you're slouching, if you look like a fucking nerd neck pussy, then girls aren't going to be attracted to you. It's not just about muscles. It is about posture, and it's about the way you present yourself. So when you're able to hold a heavy amount of load in these bent over positions, you're training your hamstrings, your back, your glutes, your calves, your lower back. Everything is being trained, and you're going to get that posture boost, and you're going to prevent yourself from getting injuries in the future. Another reason why Romanian deadlifts are one of the best exercises for female gaze attractiveness is because of the glute development you get. It's going to sound really weird, but I've seen things where females are actually attracted to guys with bigger glutes. You may think this is feminine, but when a girl sees a guy with bigger glutes, she is biologically, naturally wired to believe that he has the glute strength and he's able to fuck better. He's able to contract his ass better to fuck her harder and fuck her better. So it is literally a non-negotiable to build your glutes, and as gay as it sounds, as feminine as it sounds, Romanian deadlifts do this well, and you need to include them inside of your routine because it is interestingly a muscle that girls find very, very attractive. And the final thing is your nervous system regulation. Doing heavy ass lifts, heavy deadlifts like this is going to help boost your nervous system capacity. Provided you're resting enough, this is going to channel over to other aspects of your life, like your stress tolerance, all these other things, which will boost your attractiveness in another different way. Now, the third exercise out of 5 in the female gaze 5 are lateral raises. Lateral raises are what's going to give you the Death Star delt look. And I always talk about it, you need the V-taper physique, you need a wide upper body frame, tapered down into a small waist, right? And when you can do side lateral raises and build your side delts, this part of the shoulder here, you're gonna get an increased pop like a cap on the edge of your shoulders, which is gonna make you look wider naturally. And it's when you have this width coupled with the roundness of your shoulders, you're going to look dominant and you're going to look way more powerful. Your shoulders are going to look way better in a shirt, and you're no longer going to look like the skinny, young, weak version of yourself, where when you put on a shirt, your shoulder goes like this. Now, if you build your side delts, it's going to go round and it's going to actually look sculpted, and you're going to look like a Greek god. And it's going to give you that increased perceived width and overall make you more attractive to women. Now, my method for building my side delts, especially as a natural, especially as a guy who is naturally skinny and weak, my method was different to other people. Most guys go in the gym and they do high rep sets, heaps of sets of lateral raises with like 5 kilo dumbbells, just chasing the pump. But you have to think about it. These are a muscle too. You have to treat them like a muscle you're trying to make stronger. So what I like to do is I actually go heavy. You don't ego lift, but you go heavy enough to where you can only get from like 6 to 8 reps. None of this 20 plus rep bullshit, because you can't gauge failure. And it's when I went heavy, it's when I started doing like 17 kilo, 20 kilo dumbbell lateral raises. That's when I was able to see the most results. Now, the fourth exercise inside of the female gaze 5 is none other than bicep curl. Because we know everywhere on the internet, if you don't live under a rock, that girls love biceps. Every time I open Instagram, I see something about a fucking bicep biter. Girls just love biceps. They've got this weird, like my girl likes to bite my biceps. Big biceps are a weird fantasy that girls have. I don't know why, but you need to implement training them because it's obviously going to help you. And I know that biceps are only 1/3 of the arm, triceps are 2/3. You still need to train your triceps to get an aesthetic physique, but prioritizing biceps is going to help you with the female gaze, and it's going to appeal to what girls want. So, common training errors with the biceps, however, guys are only doing one variation. I recommend you train the long head and the short head. This is through a few different variations, like something on an incline where your arm is behind you. I like to do single arm cable curls where I'm leaning back and I'm curling just like this. And then I also like to do something in front, which is where you could do something like a preacher curl to really focus on the peak contraction at the top. And again, just like the side delt raises, guys are going way too light on the biceps. Yeah, they're a small muscle, but it doesn't mean you train them like a pussy. You still need to go heavy. And again, it's when I went in the 6 to 8 rep range, even sometimes less, going super heavy on barbell bicep curls, dumbbell bicep curls, everything like that. That's when I got the most results. And a bonus tip I'll give you here, if you want to make your arms look wider, which is something I've struggled with forever, and I'm still working on it to this day, you need to start implementing brachialis training. That means doing hammer curls as well, not just bicep curls where your wrist is like this. You need to be more neutral, and that's going to help to build the side part of the bicep, the brachialis of the forearm and everything here. And it's actually going to push your bicep out and make it look wider. And the beautiful thing about the female gaze 5 exercises here is that pull-ups will do this perfectly, especially if you do neutral grip pull-ups, because you're in a neutral grip position. You're basically doing a hammer curl with 1,000,000 times more weight than you could with a fucking standard dumbbell. So do this, implement both short head and long head training, and implement neutral grip training to build the brachialis so your bicep gets wider. Now onto the final exercise inside of the female gaze 5. That is the overhead press, or a very high incline press. Why? It's because it counters the saggy chest look, because too many guys are absolutely obsessed, just like I was, with doing flat bench, with chasing a big bench press. And yes, your chest will grow if you build a big bench. However, it is important to build the upper region of your chest and the upper shoulder area. When you can start getting strong at an overhead press or a high incline press, it's going to build density in the upper region, because I struggled with having too much in the lower chest and nothing in here. So I still look skinny, and in a shirt I still look like shit. But it's when I've started to fill this out, now my frame looks bigger, and when I partner this with the V-taper, I look bigger overall, and it creates the illusion that my waist is smaller and that everything else is more tapered and more aesthetic. And when you train an overhead press, you're naturally using your neck, your traps, and your shoulders to both train and stabilize the movement, and that is where most of your androgen receptors are more concentrated. This means that you're going to experience quicker growth in these regions, because like I said all the time, when you see steroid users jump on, what blows up first? It's their shoulders, traps, and their neck. That's because the most androgens are located in that area. So if we're training them, if we're providing heaps of stimulus to that area, we're going to get some good growth as well, even if we're natty. I would recommend to prioritize the vertical pressing over chest, or if you can, just increase the incline on every chest movement you do. Instead of just doing flat stuff where you're basically arching into a decline, well, maybe don't arch as much, or maybe put up the incline a bit, and then focus on building that upper chest and that shoulder region, because it's going to create that shelf effect when you're wearing a shirt and make you overall more attractive. But that being said, they are the 5 exercises that you need to be doing, the female gaze 5, if you want to optimize your physique for female attractiveness, so you can look good and you can pull girls. If you want more help outside of just building the physique, you can check the link for Project Undeniable, which is where I'll teach you how to build an attractive physique from a skinny, weak loser starting point, but also transform your nerd, weak mindset, physiology, everything, presentation, into something that is more of a masculine man, so you can achieve social and dating success. Remember that progress is purpose, and I'll see you in the next one.